Welcome, Daniel. Daniel, you were born in Australia in 1975. Your start in life wasn't the easiest. In an almost biblical chain of events, you, an orphan boy, were found abandoned, forlorn, floating in a basket. Unlike Moses, though, yours was a Woolworths shopping basket, heading down a sewage storm drain in downtown Melbourne. As good fortune would have it, though, you were spotted and taken in by a local family, raised as one of their own for the next 4 years. Your life with the dingo had proved it. Moving around on all fours with grunting as your only form of communication. You barely progressed mentally for 4 years. Years of therapy have helped you wipe these memories. 10 pints of lager and you're right back there. Schooling began when you reached 4 years old. Your teachers worked hard to reintroduce you to a more normal life. The person who helped you through this time more than most and is responsible for much of your moral outlook on life today was your junior school headmaster. So tonight, all the way from New South Wales, Australia, Kevin Bloody Wilson.
I first met him in the classroom back in 1963. We seemed to hit it off pretty good. Thanks, Ned and me. He wasn't such a big kid. He left it at the start. He wasn't all that clever either, but Jesus, he's good. And that, my friends, is my residing memory of Mr. Daniel Drew from primary school. I'm sure his children will agree. He's a bloody good father! He's a bloody good father! Well done, mate, well done! How you all doing up there? Yay. Celebrating Danny Drew leaving, eh? Yay. Those of us who are getting rid of him, we're celebrating. Let's get rid of you, mate. I know you won't believe this, but Danny Drew and I, we used to be school teachers. I had 7 years teaching this man when he was small. Changed my life forever, honestly. Put me off. I went down a completely different career path in the end. I'll tell you why. We'll go through his subjects in school. Maths. Didn't get that, did you? I'm teaching him to count. I said, okay, Dad, follow me. 0, 1, 2. So bloody stupid, they couldn't get past 0. And that's something he's taken onto the cricket field as well. Hey. Geography. I showed him Australia. I said, do you like that? He said, no. Looking at the UK, I said, do you like that? He said, no. Got a job working in Wales. I said, do you like that? He said, no. So his company sent him to Durham, the north end, beautiful, picturesque. I said, Danny, do you like that? No. They even sent him to mainland Europe, Sweden. I was blondes. I said, you like that? He said, no. So anyway, he's going back to Australia now. And you know what? I've got a feeling it won't be long. He ain't going to like that either. Moving on. English. I'd like to say I taught him everything he knew, but English, he taught me more than I taught him, that's for sure. In a playground, whoa, there was some horrendous language coming out of the playground. Expletives I've never even heard before. And I took all these on board, and I became a singer-songwriter in my own right. Became quite famous. So one day, so famous in fact, that I did a gig in the UK. And one day, Daniel Drew, he took the Mould Cricket Club to see the famous Kevin Bloody Wilson. So, as a bit of a thank you, I'm going to play you one of my songs from that night. Here we go, guys. Stay with me. Just get my guitar in tune here. Are you ready, Daniel, mate? And that is what I like about this guy. I think that's the real reason why he's going back to Australia. So Daniel, I wish you all the best in Australia, mate. It's always good to see one of my ex-students. I hope you'll keep in touch. I hope the rest of you have a good, enjoyable evening. Well done.
Well, Daniel, as a teenager, you were introduced to the great Australian outdoor life. Swimming, surfing, golf, rugby, Aussie rules football. But none of these excited you enough to get you off your fat ass to actually try it. As a young man, you were too busy burying your head into your father Dennis's magazine collection. However, there was one activity that did catch your eye, and this was to prove the love of your life. Every evening you'd run home from school without a minute to spare. You and a few mates would get your gear on and rush off to the local park. Parading around in ladies' underwear gave you a sense of freedom that you never ever felt before. Once out of the Young Offenders Institute, you were interested too and fell under the spell of Victoria. Victoria Bitter. It was her who gave you your first set of beer goggles, which is how you fetch your mirth for a girl, which is how you met your first girlfriend, and all the way for the home for destitute ladies in Perth is Sheila Wheels.
Which one is she? She's a little ripper. You do put a bit more lip on. You do well for yourself. Anyhow, I don't suppose the bus telegraph travels as far as the UK. But 11 years ago to the day, I had some rip-starting news. I had a set of twins. And you're the proud daddy. Hey, Sydney, come here, I'll be your dad. Go on then, give him a hug. You're a proper one. Well done, girls. Right, I feel like a mouthful now, so I'm going to sit over there and finish my grog. And you have a beautiful night. Kylie, Sydney, come over here. Leave it down alone. You're going to be seeing more of him in the next 3 months. He's going to live with us.
Well, Daniel, your life took a turn for the better when, even though your only qualification in life was to be able to play a tune whilst breaking wind, you gained a place at the Melbourne Vermin Control Academy. You worked hard, graduating from possum poisoning mice and rats up to the ladder to possum stamping and koala gassing. You finally moved on to the country's largest test. This final quarry was to survive all your attempts to eradicate him, eventually escaping into the wilderness. Your failure would come back to haunt you years later, as the creature was to resurface, as the captain of and did no cricket. Daniel, you let your country down. Your life at the Vermin Academy was to change forever one evening. You went to your room, you were about to put on your favourite dress. And all of a sudden Tracy, a British Sheila, and a fellow student, who incidentally will turn out to be your future wife, leapt out of the cupboard to make mad, passionate love to you. you totally by surprise. This wasn't one of your usual coloured girls. It was a Wednesday. And on Wednesdays you get a relay visit from the college ladies football team. What could you do? You had a problem. Miraculously, you somehow managed to wave the girls away without trace of knowledge. The ladies' football team would not be disappointed that day either, as John Williams was resident in the room next door. Daniel, you settled down with Tracy and eventually decided to put your past behind you and make a fresh start in the United Kingdom. Fabricating your CV, you somehow managed to secure employment at Tetra Pak, an international food packaging firm based in Wrexham. One man who you owe deep gratitude to is a man who foolishly gave you that job. And here tonight, Tetra Pak plant manager, Kevin Bloody Gullible Pac-Man.
Honest, reliable, hard-working, punctual, team player. None of these are qualities Danny's with. When I employed him 10 years ago, I was fit and healthy with a full head of hair. Now I'm a chain-smoking alcoholic who has to wear this ridiculous wig. For the first few years, he was okay, but then I made the biggest mistake of my life. I gave him a company credit card. Business class flights all over the world, 5-star hotels, all for so-called team building exercises, management courses. What a joke. All he did was just get on the beers at Tetra Pak's expense. He's bankrupted the Wrexham factory. And that's without ever stepping foot on the factory floor. I don't even think he knows what we make here. So there's a little souvenir for you. Taking all things into consideration, Danny, you're fired.